random junk from the archives.
So here he is, Nile Rodgers, widely thought of as one of the greatest producers of his generation. He's worked on hits for everyone, including Madonna, Duran Duran, Daft Punk.
He's also had huge success with his own band Chic back in the disco 1970s heyday. We'll speak to Nile in just a moment. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's have a little look back at some of those hits first.
Oh, and as we were listening to those classics, we were doing a bit of you were doing the air guitar.
Yeah, well, I can't help it.
And Susanna seemed to know
She knew the songs,
word.
and she was in key.
Oh, was I?
And you
Oh,
were.
good.
You were absolutely in key.
And we wanted to know why you didn't bring your guitar in.
Well, because I just finished a historical event in Ibiza. We had 3 days. The headliners were Elton John, Lenny Kravitz, and Sting. And of course, we smoked them all.
And you left your guitar there?
With David Guetta and Tiesto. Yeah. Well, what happened is that we're playing today. I'm playing today in London at Kew Gardens in a matter of hours. So my roadie has my guitars and he has to set them up and stuff like that. They also have to acclimate. They actually sit out in the temperature, you know. So.
But not in the rain, hopefully, because that
Well,
would
no,
interfere
they're back a bit. But.
Yeah.
I love the notion. You mentioned all those guys who were playing alongside.
And we
you're
smoked them.
competitive. But you actually think, you know, we go on stage.
Look at the reviews. We smoked them.
That's funny.
Now, we were talking about you earlier on because you have worked with, and you still perform with all these, you know, these massive stars. You're a massive star. You started off at Sesame Street.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I was studying classical guitar, and I was trying to decide whether I was going to Juilliard School of Music or Manhattan School of Music. And I looked on the
How
bulletin.
old are you at this point? Not now, not today.
Then I was 19.
Okay.
And I looked on the bulletin board, and they had, you know, job applications, and one was for Sesame Street. And I auditioned because I was a fabulous music reader, and I got the job right on the spot, even though I was a weird hippie with green hair. And actually, you know what? The green hair probably got me the gig, because if you remember the Sesame Street puppets,
you would have fit right in.
Well, they were all multicolored because they were multicultural, and that was the subliminal message that they would send to the kids. So maybe I got the job not because I could play, but because my hair was green.
Was that quite a surreal place to work? Because there was Big Bird, and I mean, it must have been quite an odd environment.
It was unbelievable, and it was, for a person my age growing up in America at that time, it was probably the most eclectic, hip, and educational place ever.
Because it was reflected. The whole point was it was reflecting, you know, a street, wasn't it?
Right.
That was, and everyone lived there. And,
correct.
Yeah.
Now, you've said that your childhood was a happy one, or not a miserable one anyway, but you were, I mean, let's not make any bones about this, you were brought up by heroin addicts.
Yeah. But wonderful heroin addicts. No, my family, I mean, the heroin addicts weren't that strange, I mean, in my neighborhood. But what was really interesting is that my father, my stepfather, was white. So my mom and dad were an interracial couple in the early 60s. 1959, they got married. So that was still a very odd combination because typically, you know, if you saw an interracial couple in New York City, it was usually a hip jazz musician, you know, a black jazz musician with a white woman. You didn't see a white man with a black woman. My stepfather is the coolest guy on earth, and I mean, I had wonderful parents, wonderful, really great.
We reeled off a list of people you've worked with and produced for. Some of the women, Diana Ross.
Yeah.
Do you ever, in your own head, kind of compare and contrast some of the women you've worked with? Like, for example, we mentioned Madonna.
Yeah.
How does someone like that compare with someone like Diana Ross? I mean, do you ever
When you
do
say
that?
compare,
well,
what do
you
you
know,
mean,
just in terms of what they bring, what they like to work with. I mean, we often think of people as being divas.
Okay.
And do you see something entirely differently when you work alongside them? You must do.
I love divas. The more difficult, no, this is the truth. The more difficult the artist, the more I love them. Because that means that they have a real point of view, and I love that. I just
do you want to give us a hit? Can you give us a hit list? Are you prepared to give us the biggest diva? You may well love them the most, but who's come to you with the biggest kind of diva reputation?
Diana Ross, for sure. I mean, we told her that she was singing a little bit flat in the kindest, most gentlemanly way ever. We just said, "Hey, Diana, you know, you're just a little bit under the track." She says, "What does that mean?" Well, you're just a little under the track. What does that mean? Well, you know, just a little flat. And then we saw her leave. We thought she was going to the bathroom. And we saw this fur coat go out the window, you know, out the studio. She went to the south of France. We didn't see her again. She left. We didn't see her for another 2 months.
Sorry.
That's pretty diva-esque.
That is diva. That is definitely diva.
She didn't storm out saying, I'm off, I've had it, no one tells me I don't sing
Well, she
in
did
key.
say no one told. She said that gently. She says, wow, no one's ever told me I sang flat. And then that was the last we heard of her. But the thing that's funny
Did she come back and did you do the track?
Oh, yeah, well, we finished what's the biggest record of her life.
Which one was it?
Upside Down and I'm Coming Out. It's the biggest record of her life, Diana. But anyway, but the thing that's funny is that Diana and I are probably some of the closest friends ever. And, you know, she stormed out of the studio. We sued her to put the record out. Record's biggest record of her life. And we're like, we can get her on the phone right now, actually.
Can we?
Well, actually, it's really early in the morning in Los Angeles.
It'd probably be unfair.
In Los Angeles, probably
It would be
about
10
really
past
want to do
one.
that,
It's 10 past, that's right, yeah. But you've got her number on your mobile.
Oh, yeah.
And after this interview, you'll say, I told the story about you storming out.
She's heard it a million
Yes,
times.
She has,
And tell me about the chic lineup that people see now. You say you're performing over here. Is that the original lineup?
No, unfortunately, it's really unfortunate. But out of the original 5 guys, you know, I go on my website every now and then, and it breaks my heart. Out of the original 5 guys, 4 of the guys have died. And my partner, Bernard Edwards, has been dead longer than 16 years now. So Bernard Edwards, Luther Vandross, Tony Thompson, I mean, all of those guys have all passed away.
So you're the surviving.
Can you believe it? And I'm the guy, if you had asked anyone back in those days, who's the first to go? Everybody would go, him. It's got to be Nile.
Well, you had your own issues, didn't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I worked, and also I'm an insane workaholic. I was born with, I don't know if I was born with it, but they used to call it insomnia when I was a child. But after the doctors examined me, they realized that I only need 3 hours sleep a night, 4 maximum. So I've lived my whole life on 2 to 3 hours sleep.
Look at you. You are the picture of health.
And I apologize,
amazing.
because our time is up. We feel like
I know.
it's just,
Oh, wait a
just
minute. No,
started.
come on. We didn't
all
talk
the good
about
stuff.
Magic Loungeabout. What do you
Yeah,
mean,
come on, come on.
Loungeabout?
Magic Loungeabout takes place Friday the 27th till Sunday the 29th of July, and Chic headlining, and you'll be there.
And it's going to be amazing.
And the guitar's going to be there. Brilliant.
2 guitars will be there at least.
No, it's lovely to see you.
So
today.
nice
Thank you
to
so
see
much.
you.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for your company this morning. We've got to say goodbye. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Have a great day.